Good morning, JRC. Happy Monday. So this past Shabbat, we finished a book of Torah, the book of Exodus, Shmot. And the end of the book of Exodus was all about how we were supposed to gather together to create the physical location, the sacred space known as the Mishkan or the tabernacle, to welcome in the presence of the divine. This week, we transition into the book of Leviticus, Vayikra, which is all about, well, what are we supposed to do in this sacred space once we've created it? For a lot of us, the spaces we've been in for the last, say, week or the last 48 hours are starting to feel a little bit less than sacred. Mine is full of moving boxes and homework and trying to keep up with being at home where everyone is confined to a smaller space than we usually are. Leviticus shifts us into how it is, what are we supposed to do in these spaces that we've created? And it centers around something called a korban. A korban is a sacrifice, which is pretty different than our current practices today, but is full all over the book of Leviticus of the ways in which we are supposed to offer sacrifices for all different reasons. And the primary reason we offer a sacrifice is not to give something up, not to restrict ourselves, but rather to make an opportunity for us to get close to God. That's what korban means. It is from the root karov, which means to get close. And so when we offer a korban, when we hikriv a korban, we are trying to make ourselves get close. Then that begs the question this week, particularly, how is it that we can get close in a time when we are physically supposed to be apart? So there's a lot of different ways to do that. And one of the things that Leviticus is about how we bring the ritual richness of our tradition into our lives and into our daily lives. As someone who grew up in the Reconstructionist movement, who grew up at JRC, I didn't have a daily prayer practice. And in fact, it wasn't until rabbinical school that I learned the weekday Amidah, which has Shmona Esrei, 18 blessings, instead of the 7 that we chant on Shabbat. And so these 18 blessings were a lot to learn. And many of us don't have a daily prayer practice that involves saying 18 blessings or saying a particular prescription. So what I want to offer today is that there's a lot of different ways to have a daily ritual. It might be waking up and stretching. It might mean yoga or a walk or the way your coffee smells the first time you take a sip. It might be putting on lipstick before going in front of the camera to send a message virtually to your community. It might mean putting on a kippah. It might mean praying. So I want to offer you a version of the Amidah, a short version. It's originally designed so if you were in a hurry or if there were robbers in your house or if you didn't have the skills, it would suffice halachically. As post-halachic Jews, halacha isn't the thing that is most forefront in our minds, but the ability to connect, the ability to get close is. And so this is an Amidah Ketzura, a shortened Amidah. And I'll post this in the pictures in the comments right below. Open my eye that it may look upon the goodness of your plan and turn my knowledge into knowledge of your ways, my will into your will. May all that I do be like an offering received in your presence, and may you forgive me all I have done wrong. Enable me to see your light in all whom I encounter, and please heal the pain in my heart. For you are the one who listens to the prayer of all who speak. Blessed are you, Eternal One, who hears all prayer. So, wherever you are, however you may find a way to incorporate a little piece of daily ritual, whether it's saying that blessing, saying a mantra, or finding a way to get close, let's try. I'll leave us today with another short Amidah by our JRC member, Sid Lieberman, Zichrono Livracha, may his memory be a blessing. A short Amidah, another way to approach how we get close. They say we're supposed to be in a palace, so we bow and take certain steps at the prescribed supplication drops from our lips. But what do we really know of castles and kings? My kitchen faucet constantly leaks and the kids' faces usually need cleaning. If a door opened to a real palace, I'd probably forget and carry in a load of groceries. No, the door we stand in front of when the Amidah begins is silence. And when we step through it, we arrive in our own hearts. Mine's not a fancy place, no jewels, no throne, certainly not fit for a king. But in that small chamber, for just a few moments on Sabbath, or any day, God and I can roll up our sleeves, put some schnapps out on the table, sit down together, and finally talk. That's palace enough for me. How will you fill your palace today? How will you get close? See you soon.